tranquility. Roll up the weed and get high. I said peace, tranquility. Roll up the weed and get high. I said peace, tranquility.
Yeah.
Roll up the weed and get high. I said peace, tranquility. Roll up the weed and get high. Welcome, guys, to another episode of They Fired Us. I am one half of this great team. I go by the name of Desmond Bonet.
I go by the name of Mr. Real Black Lives Matter.
Okay. At least he ain't go with I forgot the other name, but at least he ain't go with that one this time. This is once again They Fired Us, brought to you by the Blue Light Lounge, man. Today's episode, even though there's still a lot going on, there's still a lot that we could, talk about. But if a lot of you guys have been with us through the old podcast, we had an episode called Flowers, where we took time to, show our appreciation for a lot of the people who are still living and breathing while they can, smell those flowers. Due to, as we all know, 2020 has been an intense year, to say the least. Instead of giving you guys the usual, we would like to take today's episode to highlight some of our fallen heroes, whether known publicly or not. And before I continue, if any of you guys lost a close family member and you want them to be acknowledged, please feel free to either email us a list or you can just drop the names down below in the comment section. And, hopefully we do this again. We'll definitely make sure they get that light. The phrase "give flowers while they can smell them" is often said, but rarely ever really done. So I wanted to make sure everybody that we lost got an even amount, proper mention, and we'll just go from there. We'll name different names, and if we have any personal attachment, anything that we want to specifically say, that's what we'll give you guys, man. But before that, I ain't speak to you since last episode, man. How you been?
Been copacetic. I've been in the bat cave, I sort of signed out, but I didn't go out to save the world, because you got to save yourself before you save the world. So just been working on saving myself.
It's well said, man.
Yeah, how are you with this be humble and hustle? What's going on, man?
Oh, man, shout out to Lena. I've been good, man. I've been purposely keeping myself off of social media. I got pictures up now, like 2 of them, to shut the people up. But
yeah, I saw, but
I just been trying to stay away from the information. That's the best way to say it. Like, there's a lot that's been going on, still continuing going on. So I just been kind of like what you said, being in the back cave, just kind of keeping to myself, staying on top of my work, and staying on top of this podcast and doing my 1-2 and making sure I'm holding my weight here. You feel me? I'd always pat yourself on the back for good things like that, man. I'm good.
He's giving himself flowers.
Listen, what you just said, you can't save the world unless you save yourself. I can't love the world unless I love me, man. I love me, baby. I'm here.
Hakuna Matanas. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. I just want to, before we even dissect into the main topic, we do this check-in with each other. We check in with our close friends and families and stuff like that. Before we even dissect to our main subject, I want to suggest that you check in with your loved ones, you check in with your significant others, you check in with those people who are essential workers, those people who are still working out there as of right now, because time's only going to get scarier. And people think that 2020 is bad. This is only the beginning. And it's always interesting when you cross similar frequencies and similar vibrations every day. Yesterday going to the gym, this guy and I just happened to have like a 5-minute conversation about like, they don't even know what's about to happen. And we were just name dropping everything. And we were just like eyes open, because like, I was like, "Oh, you're alert." And he was like, "Oh, you're alert." And it was like, all right, yeah, cool. So we know, and I say that to say that not only to be safe, But I'll also say that we're 2020 and we're going to read off the list of flowers, and no day is promised. All right. And we don't even know. You know, I lost a good friend of mine due to cancer, and his funeral was on Monday. I went to school with him, and it came to me as a shock. Um, so if I may, I like to dedicate this to the people we're gonna mention, and to my homeboy Capri. Um, you're in my prayers. You know, when I got the news, I couldn't even talk. Like there was no words to say, you know, and I couldn't even I didn't even know what to say to his significant other, you know, because the news just it was just like, you know, and she wrote a beautiful dedication or tribute on social media. And as I'm reading this, different events come to my mind, because it's like, yo, I was there, you know, like I seen when, you know, like, so I'm reading, you know, like the relationship, yada, yada, this, yada, yada, that. And I'm like, yo, like, I was there for this, you know. So it just hurts, you know, and then I had to reach out to some people, you know. I guess that's the way God orchestrates things, you know, because we were all close together, you know, like we were like that's just it, you know. And people hitting you up to ask you if you're okay, but you don't even have the right words to say. Like, you don't even know, like, I don't. So, yeah. So I didn't mean to start it off like that, but it just came on my mind, you know. And I could not start off this episode without giving him some some kind of flowers. You know, like one of the funniest people that I know. Like, you thought I was funny? Nah, like he always had everybody dying, you know. And he has a son, you know, and it's just no day is promised, man. No day is promised, man. Every day you have a chance at life, man. You just give thanks, man. You you go outside, give thanks. You make it back into your house, and you're able to go to sleep. Give thanks, you know, because we're just living in those times, and it's gonna get worse. You know, there's gonna be not to scare anybody who's watching this right now, but those of you who know me know that I'm an intuitive person, you know, and it's gonna be a lot more casualties, sadly, you know, especially next year with, you know, public figures and celebrities. And I'm gonna leave it just like that.
My bad. Say his name again.
His name was Capri. So
Capri, man. Rest in peace to Capri. This year
yeah.
has been
Mm-hmm.
this year just been crazy, man. And just to, you know, add just a little bit to what you said, like even to the people, whether you believe certain things are being said or not, one of the things that are a true fact is a lot of people are getting taken. And so, like Lade said, man, just keep yourself safe, man. Stay aware and check in with the ones that you call loved ones, man.
Yeah. I have a point too, and I'm gonna stop because I know, like, I really talk a lot during these podcasts, right? And it's been something that's been bothering me. We have close friends in life, and then we have close friends on social media,
Mm-hmm.
right? And and it's sad that we're more vulnerable, if that's the word, and we tell more to people that we don't really know.
Yeah.
All right. Like there's several people who have added you on close friends, but you don't know them in real life. And there's certain people who, somebody might have worked with, and you will consider them a good friend, a close friend. But in real life, you do not know that person. And we need to change that narrative. If you're going to call somebody your close friend, actually take the time out to get to know them. I know that we have 24 hours in a day, people are busy, yada, yada, yada. But we need to go back to getting to know people, learning people, and checking in on people. Okay. So I mentioned the first point, which was, the check-in. And that's very imperative, to check in with, your friends, your loved ones, et cetera, et cetera. And then the second one is related to the first one, and make sure you check in with yourself. And I say that because it's important to take care of home. A lot of us are kind of just going through the motions of things, and we're not able to properly process what has happened this whole year. Yes, we're dealing with jobs. Yes, we're dealing with unemployment. Yes, we're dealing with, and it's so much being poured on top of us that we can't even swim up for fresh air. So make sure you're taking care of yourself, whatever that looks like to you, man. If you have a business, work on your business. If you are into the gym, keep on going to the gym. If you're sad and depressed, talk to a close friend, or actually just simply ask yourself, what is making me feel this way? Is it my environment? Is it things that I'm eating? Is it music and TV that I'm watching and listening? And then also ask yourself, what would my home look like? When we talk about taking care of home, what would my home look like? And write that down and see if it matches up to how you're living now. And I think that it's important because Des has his own segment where he talks about mental health and mental illness. I've mentioned it on my separate segment a bunch of times, and this year is definitely the year that needs to be talked about mental health and mental illness. A lot of us are afraid to diagnose each other. However, like Kanye West said, it's a special power, and we have to look at it as that rather than look at it as a illness or a disease or a stigma, if you wish to call it that. So those are the two things that I wanted to mention. Sorry for getting so deep and heavy, but we kind of just flow with it, and
Are you good? That's honestly what I personally wanted this episode to be for. Not just to mention names, for the sake of mentioning names, which I do support the whole say their names campaign, but to also as a reminder to everyone that's still here, I've learned to start looking at death in particular, and I'm not saying this is right or wrong. This is literally it eases me to think this way, and the way I started thinking about death is some people have a duration when it comes to their purpose. Some people get done quicker than others. Some take longer than others. And the reason why I'm starting to think like that is because, and if you don't mind, I want to, start with the list of names that we actually do have.
Yeah, let's jump into it.
I'll start with Kobe Bryant, and the reason why I want to start with Kobe is because I've been on record to say if a basketball game is on, I'll watch it, but if it's not, I don't lose sleep. I've never been a huge, sports fan as far as watching it. I've always played sports, but never really, got into, you know what I'm trying to say. But even someone who doesn't really live in the basketball world felt Kobe Bryant's impact with everything that he was everything that he was doing off the court. For me, it was off the court because, like I said, I wasn't really aware of every single accomplishment or play or just every moment on the court. But I got more in tune with Kobe, off the court, his relationship with his daughter, his support for the WNBA and just the whole women's basketball team and uplifting women and making sure that they're seen at the same level that men are seen when it comes to that, competitive industry game, whatever title you want to put on it. And yeah, so my fault, almost lost my train of thought. But the reason why I bring that up is because I look at Kobe as he might have left too soon in the sense of his family and friends love him and want him to be here, but the impact that he left lets me know everything he was supposed to do on this earth was done. Now, like I said, I'm not saying that I'm right in that. Maybe he had more to do. I'm not saying that I'm right in that, but this is what helps me in kind of coping with just this whole year in depth. I'm paying attention to the impact and the words that's being said when these situations happen and when these situations are happening, and it's letting me know the power that these people had.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I was just looking at a post that I posted for Kobe and just seeing the accolades that he had, Kobe, when we talk about Kobe, the same pause that I'm doing right now is what you begin to do because you can list so many things about this man. He instilled the Mamba mentality in all of us. The first one in the gym, last one to leave, performing well during injury, asking Michael Jordan for advice and coaching, and actually looking up to him as a father figure, falling in love with his retirement, which you see a lot of players having that tug of war with, which is the reason why I feel bad for Vince Carter, because Vince Carter didn't want to retire, but due to the corona and everything, and him getting older, he's 40, 41, still playing, was still playing basketball. Like that's really unheard of, So, to see that, you can only feel, what Kobe was at ease with retiring. You can only imagine how 100% complete he was with leaving and then starting all over. And he was just starting, he was just starting. And I feel like he was about to take the WNBA to a next level, because he supported female sports, and his support and contribution and things that he's done for those players, undescribable. Like, how they say how there's only one. There's only one Kobe Bryant, and I don't care what nobody says. There will never be another Kobe Bryant. Never, 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 ever, ever. I don't think we'll have another person who would get close to. And I'm not even gonna say Michael Jordan, but Kobe Bryant. Like just the style of play, just the playing through injury, just the speaking so many languages. There is not going to be another person like that. You know,
You just told me something new because I didn't know that.
and Gigi, man, you heard it first. We love you. To see a girl at her age with the basketball IQ that she had, Kobe said it himself. She was playing better at her age than he was at her age. So that only tells you what she was about to do.
The series, you saw the video of her. I think it was at her prom. She in the dress and the heels and
Yeah, 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 yeah. And um, there's a old quote, and I'm butchering because I can't remember it, but it said the truth is in the eyes, and you can see in her eyes how passionate she was, not only for the love of the game, but her respect and love for her father. You know, and that hurts, man. That hurts because when we think about the Black community as a whole, and we keep losing people, people who can potentially be role models and leaders, and father figures in a world where we need father figures.
Nice.
And talking about our community in itself, it's heartbreaking. It's if anybody saw her turn around fade away, it was identical to Kobe's. It was identical, if not going to get better. And she was the same on the court. She wasn't cocky. She was humble. She was a good sportsman, sportswoman, should I say? And it's just terrible. It's just terrible about what happened. Um, Next on the list, I still can't believe that this has happened. I just mentioned his name before we started the podcast, Chadwick Boseman. Ollie's death hit you so hard, and you almost start to get desensitized. Which kind of removes empathy, kind of removes emotion. Which is another trick from the enemy to turn us into robots, because robots don't have emotion. However, humanity was based off emotion. And what I want to say is that with all this great things that this man did, I know you mentioned earlier, your purpose and when your time is, I don't believe his time was up, and it just hurts, for me. And his death, especially as the first thing that I think about is that scene in Black Panther when he said it's not my time to go. And I truly believe that it wasn't his time to go. I truly believe with a grain of salt that it wasn't his time to go. I'm really scrambling with words on this one. because we know him for Black Panther. However, he did, Jackie Robinson. He did Thurgood Marshall, if I'm not mistaken.
He did I'm forgetting his name, the singer, James Brown.
He did James Brown. He was a detective in 21 Bridges, which was a good movie.
Fire movie.
A good movie. So, you know, it just hurts, man. It kind of goes back to the Kobe thing, man. It's like, this, and I feel like we're losing so many people just when they're getting started.
That's with Chadwick in particular. That's what it was for me, man. Cause all of the amazing movies you just mentioned, but it was Black Panther that I would say kind of shined enough light on him to where everybody looked at everything he was doing. Some people who never saw the 40 Jackie Robinson movie, I forgot his number 42.
42, yep, 42.
42. I know it's people who never seen that that went to see that after they seen his acting in Black Panther, as well as, if I'm not mistaken, 21 Bridges came out after, but I'm pretty sure there was
it came out after, yeah.
To go see it. He did a lot of amazing work, man. But for me, it was his personal fight, man. And like I don't even know what else to say to kind of put exactly what I'm trying to say together, but it was that fight. Like my grandfather, I watched my grandfather, for lack of a better term, deteriorate. His battle with cancer. And I know how that looks. I don't know how it feels, so I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I do, but I know how it looks, so I can just imagine the pain that's behind it. So the fact that, and I know there's a lot of people saying like, oh, it's not the same because he had money and this and that. All right, cool, granted. Sickness doesn't care about whether you're poor or healthy. You might be able to maintain it better if you have the money, but it still doesn't really care. Like this man still was going through multiple surgeries, multiple chemotherapy sessions, and still put on for us, for people like me and you, to be able to go to the theaters and watch that.
To comment on what you just said, I used to have, and I'm just speaking on my end. I'm not saying that you guys or who listen are like this, but I used to think ignorant like that and say, oh, these people, celebrities have money, they should have did yada yada yada. And somebody has cancer, for me, I'm like, they could do X, Y, and Z. However, thank God that I never had cancer, and prayerfully, that, I never get it, so I don't know, because you go to the doctor's office and the doctor says you have stage 4. You're like, oh, wait, I didn't even know that I had stage 1. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know the severity of the issue, and then everybody's body is different. So you don't know how that person is gonna fight off, X, Y, and Z. Everybody's different. There's people who get lucky enough to smoke cigarettes for their whole life and they still hit 100. And then there's people who smoke cigarettes and they going at 15. So we cannot have that same mind frame when we're talking about people who have the most money, et cetera, et cetera. Look at Steve Jobs, for example.
Exactly.
He had so much money and he had cancer. You don't think he was getting treatment? You don't think that he was trying to take the right precautions? Do you think he wanted to die? No. Nobody in the hospital who is sick or nobody who's fighting would tell you that they want to die.
Nice.
Everybody still thinks they have more work to do. You know what I'm saying? You know, but we just have to under we have to be a little bit more understanding. And instead of pointing the finger, what we said before, we have to check in. How you doing? What's going on? And we have to trust that person is going to be truthful with us and give us that information. Take the mask off and get comfortable, you know?
I don't got nothing else to add, man. I feel like I don't know, Chadwick, it was different. His like hearing about his death was just different.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh, man, I'm having a brain fart right now. I can't think of her name. The girl who played his sister.
Damn, I just seen that she put up like a trip her own tribute or something, right?
Yes, 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 yes. She put up the tribute. When I tell you that that has inspired me on levels, man. Uh, it starts with an L.
Luke, hold on, I'm finding it right now.
Please, 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 please forgive us. Please forgive us, man. Like our minds are going through so much right now, especially with this episode. You know, just
Lupita.
Lukia, we got it. Lukita, man, Lukita. Yes, yes, yes. This one,
Lupita Nyong'o.
you know, our prayers are with you as well during this process, you know, and we definitely want to give you your flowers that you deserve. You know, that poem you did, the simplicity of that poem, yet it's still being complex, speaks measures to not only how brilliant you are as an artist, but the depth of your relationship between you two spirits. And I'm happy that in my journey I've had a chance to witness such empathy, such love, such artistry. Excuse me, such artistry. Um, Speaking about artists, you want to take this one? Or you
Yeah,
have something to say?
yeah, just to add on to that, I also want to give just all the respect to her for ignoring all of the ignorant and negative comments from. I've seen so many comments from people saying like, that's inappropriate. This is something that should be coming from his wife and things like that. Listen, people are allowed to have genuine friends that they share a special bond with that doesn't have to cross a certain line. And it's sad that when someone passes away and someone who was close to them shares a tribute publicly that she didn't even have to share publicly, and people will still talk down on it. So I just wanted to really, really shout out for that because it's so easy to get sucked in.
Of course, of course, of course, of course. You wait, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Let's dissect about that because this episode is called Flowers, right? And that's exactly what she was doing. She was giving her flowers to somebody who she really considered a brother.
Mm-hmm.
And then we always have ignorant social media. Like I just said, we always have these ignorant imbeciles who do not show any lack of empathy, any lack of love, any lack of compassion, and continue to troll, man. What if she showed it to his wife and got permission? What if? You don't know. Second, what if the wife, Chad, and her all know each other? So the wife trusts her to post that on social media. I commend her because out of everybody who posted something for Chad, that one to me felt the most authentic. Because after ABC did show Black Panther, and I think they did it for propaganda, the tribute afterwards, I was appalled by the tribute.
It wasn't put together well at all.
It wasn't put together. It was rushed. It was very rushed, and it lacked empathy. It lacked empathy. So her tribute, I thought was heartfelt, and Michael B. Jordan's, I felt his was heartfelt. And I want to give flowers to him during this difficult time, because they knew each other since they were 16, 17. And to know somebody who is 16, 17, and y'all just get to your prime. Michael B. Jordan has his own production company. You know, you becoming a great actor, you guys are collaborating, doing all of these things together. That's the dream.
And they're literally two of the most loved, and shoot me if anybody feels differently, I don't care. Two of the most loved characters that are completely opposite. How many times do we see that? Both of their roles in Black Panther were on the opposite side, but yet we still love them like they was on the same side, man.
Yeah. And you want to break it down to these trolls who do not know who they are? An African tradition. It's tradition to give love like that when somebody passes away. It's tradition to show love like that. Normally they might do a dance, they might do a celebration similar to the Native Americans. You know, to show their love, to show how much of this person meant to them. Mm-hmm. You know, and we lost sight of that because we do not know who we are. You know, and it's sad. You know, yeah.
Shout out to Michael B. Jordan, man. He's an incredible actor and incredible human being from what I've observed. I've never met him in person, man, but that's what we're here for, flowers. Shout out to that, man, yo.
There we go. You want to tackle this next one?
Yeah, this next one. I apologize for laughing. I know it's not a laughable moment, but the reason why I'm laughing is because I wasn't a fan when I first heard of Pop Smoke. I didn't get it. I didn't understand what the hype was about. I just looked at it as another rapper from Brooklyn that's making popular drill music and everybody else just kind of hopping on the wave.
Yeah.
The first project I heard from him was Meet the Woo 2 before his debut album. And
all right,
the first time I actually sat down and listened. And I started to get it. I still didn't get some of the earlier work, but I started to get why people was intrigued by this kid, man. And it's been said a million times by, notable people, but I'm going to repeat it here as well. He really did have the energy that 50 had when he came in 2000, through 2004, like that whole beginning. Like, he really had that energy. Everything he put out was just, even though drill music right now is cloned a lot, like I'm gonna just say that, like it's damn near everywhere. But his sound to it, not only did it remind you of old, but it still felt new and fresh. Mm-hmm. And
what I want to, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, and I know we didn't get to this name yet because it happened before 2020, but I just want to mention Nipsey real quick. I don't feel like Pop Smoke's purpose and work was close, but I feel like with more time, just from watching his interviews and hearing the way he talked, it didn't remind me of Nipsey, but I felt like he was actually paying attention as if he was one of us, like just on their phone and paying attention to everything that Nipsey was talking about. and everything that he was trying to show and prove to his community. And I feel like Pop Smoke was at a level to where he was starting to get that, but
Yeah, yeah.
not taken too soon.
Taken way too soon. I didn't know Pop Smoke or learn about Pop Smoke, I think, until you mentioned it to me at work, or till I started just hearing people play his songs, and I'm like, okay, okay. Because there was a while, and maybe this is just me just being in my own world, but if I'm not mistaken, like the streets weren't playing like heavy music until like Pop Smoke. And let me explain. Like growing up, I'm from the hood. I'm from the hood. So growing up, you would hear these cars driving, blasting music nonstop, right? Spring, summer, fall, some parts of the winter if it's not cold, just bumping heavy music,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't felt that feeling until I saw and heard of Pop Smoke again. I mean, you hear it every now and then, but consistently, like every single day, once I learned Pop Smoke, about Pop Smoke, like I heard his sound. I heard his sound, people playing it on the radio, everywhere, like everywhere, and even though that's a part of propaganda and the whole um matrix of marketing, for brands and stuff like that, I want to say that it was it was it was it was also showing the caliber and the skill set of this artist, and I didn't know that a lot of my friends actually knew Pop Smoke, and some people actually went to school with him, and I was just like, small world, man, small world. When I'm seeing on my friends Insta stories that they're posting him, like they're posting pictures, like together. I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, huh? What's going on? And that just shows you how small the world is, and how we are all connected. What I want to say is not disrespect to Pop Smoke. I don't even know if his page is still active on social media. I don't know if the family took it down or whatever. But the picture of them in LA, and the picture that they showed the address to the Airbnb that they're staying in, that they were staying in at the time. That just rang a bell to me. I didn't in my head say that he was gonna pass, but a red flag rung in my head, and as we give flowers out to each person.
I think the page is gone.
All right, right, right. So the page is not there anymore. But what I want to say is that, as we celebrate these, black and brown individuals, and we're talking about their legacy and what they mean to us, let us get inspired by them as well. And let us be a little bit smarter, guys. You know, um, there's no reason why we have to, you know, and this is not me taking any away from Pop Smoke or trying to disrespect his legacy. We need to stop trying to. Go ahead, sorry.
My bad, they do have it. I just looked up the wrong name, but they
All
still.
right, got it, got it.
Yeah, the pictures. Yeah, the pictures you're talking about is there as well too.
Yeah, like we need a like. There's nothing wrong with having a low profile. There's nothing wrong with it, you know. And I and I think that was a huge mistake on his behalf, But young, he's excited to be in LA, you know, he just dropped music. He's on the top. He just did the interview with Angie Martinez. So he's on the top of the world. That's the last thing he's thinking about. That's the last thing. And we have to move militant. And also I want to say, as we give him flowers, man, we've said this numerous times on this podcast. It almost comes off like a broken record. We need to stop killing each other. It's like going back to Chadwick for a second, and going back to Nipsey for a second, right? Black Panther comes, right? The whole movie theater for the whole day is packed with the majority of nothing but Black people. We see different things that happen in the movie. We're clapping, we're looking at each other. We're like, yo. We're interacting with our neighbors who are next to us for a short period of time. But we all feel that nostalgia from the movie. We feel the energy, we feel the vibrations. It touches us because we know where we come from within the movie. We see our power, we see our royalty, we see our heritage. And we leave the movie theater feeling that excitement, feeling energetic, thinking about it for the next weeks to come. And then we go back to our regular scheduled program. The same people who are shooting and hurting each other are probably the same ones who went to the movie. And this has to stop. This has to stop. The only reason why white supremacy, the elites, get to use Black on Black crime, even though we know that white on white crime is more, is because Black keep on killing Black people. If we stop, they won't be able to use the term. And once we stop, then what comes with that? They'll stop calling us thugs. They'll stop calling us criminals. They'll stop saying that, this guy poses a threat. And then we can work on our economic struggle that we've been struggling with since the beginning of time. Well, not the beginning of time, but since the white people came with slavery. I'll say that. All right. So not from the beginning of time, but from the beginning of slavery. Next on the list, we have George Floyd, we have Breonna Taylor, we have Oluwatun, we have Elijah McCain, we have Rashard Brooks, we have Ahmaud Arbery, and we also have Vanessa Gillian. I said Vanessa Gillian last because that's a different situation, even though she was still murdered.
Yeah.
So I wanted to address that just a little bit separately, just a little bit.
I want to first and foremost apologize because I didn't remember all the names, and for some reason a lot of them wasn't popping up, but that was probably on purpose. Rest in peace to the ones that they tried and say that they committed suicide. It was, I believe, I want to say 3, maybe it was more than that, I'm not too aware, but this year there's been a lot of lynchings and people committing suicides, hanging themselves, and we know what's really going on, man. Like I said, I do apologize because the names is not there, but I do want to shine light, man. And
yeah, we want to shine light. What do you have to say for all of this, man? It's whether it's And here's my take. Whether it's propaganda, whether it's to help George Soros and his campaign, whether it's to create a race war. At the end of the day, like I said, going back to Pop Smoke, that innocent Black people keep on dying. And it's this hurting. It's sad. It's disheartening. Excuse me. It's sad. It's just a bunch of emotions.
It is messed up. Like,
you know, I don't even. I mean, I have words to say, but I feel like I'm just going round and round in circles right now with saying all the words.
Only thing I do want to say is, just for Breonna Taylor, recent news that her family got granted, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm getting the numbers correctly, it was 12 million for what happened. And within that 12 million, they're saying also comes with reforms. And my whole thing is, and then I'll continue from here. That way we don't have to dwell on it. But my whole thing is, you're doing everything but what the people have been asking for. You're doing everything but what everyone has been fighting for. So at this point, I'm not understanding. I'm really, and once again, I didn't know Breonna Taylor. I don't know her family. So this ain't me speaking on how they should feel, nothing like that. This is just how I feel. Even though I didn't know her, I look at it as kind of a slap in the face and kind of more disrespect, saying that I'd rather make you a millionaire to cover your pain before I would ever put these
people in jail. Yeah. It's almost like hush up money. It's like, oh, we could pay you. You know what I'm saying? And the fight doesn't end. You know, like you are, listen. God forbid this hasn't happened. You know, and I pray that it doesn't happen. But the minute something happens to somebody I love, is when I go into power mode. You know, I'll they will see Power episode 2 in me, and that'll be the end of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I will seek justice for any cop. Like I would. Like, I'll be their worst nightmare. And I'm just stating facts. You know what I'm saying? Because you cannot offer me enough money, you know, to deal with the fact that I still have to go to bed thinking about what happened. Like, the money is not going to cover any mental health or mental illness or any PTSD that I have to deal with afterwards. Like, no, like it's not feasible. Now, on the other hand, we haven't seen well, I don't know about the minutes in a court. So we don't know what they talked about in an actual agreement, you know, for that so-called settlement, you know. But however, we still have cops who did a crime who are not behind bars and trying to throw dirt on Breonna Taylor's name, saying that, oh, it was a drug house, and, you know, all this other unnecessary things that don't go to the fact that you killed an innocent person. You know what I'm saying? You search the house without a warrant, without any feasible cause.
When she's in bed, just
Yeah. And you know what the kicker is? You know what the kicker is? How are these cops still doing this when they already have a track record? How is it that a black person or person of color can have an excellent resume, can have a master's, can have a doctorate, but not be able to get a job, not be able to get employment, or not be able to get financially paid for what they deserve? However, on the other side, a cop can have a resume of killing people and still have a job, or get suspended, still have pay, or they retire, which they still get paid.
they what you call that, the pension?
Yeah, but I mean pension, uh what's that other one? 401k. I mean, um they might get a stipend from the cops, cop department. I really don't know how that situation works, but like just look at the just look at the just look at the playing field. And they will tell you that this is right. They will tell you that this is justifiable. They they will tell you that this makes sense. And how? How does it make sense? How does it make sense that we are still fighting to find our place in the world, and you're getting away with taking our place in the world? And I always make sure that I choose my words carefully so I can break it down to I could break it down so you can understand where I'm coming from. I always try to put things in a way where if you write it down or put it on a chalkboard or put it on a dry eraser, that it could actually make sense. You know, like these killings are not justifiable.
At all.
You know what I'm saying? George Floyd, yeah, a knee on his neck. You know what I'm saying? He's screaming, "I can't breathe." Another Eric Garner. You know what I'm saying? Yes, there's some conspiracies on that. Remember, we're not talking about conspiracies on YouTube. If you want us to do a Patreon, like, email us, etc., etc. Um, I know, I took the baton and I started running, so bear with me on this one. Oh, yeah. Elijah, this guy had a medical condition. This guy had a medical condition, and you kill him. You actually give him a shot. You actually give him a shot. So now, outside of guns, outside of pepper spray, outside of handcuffs, outside of knives, outside of sticks, outside of tasers, you guys are carrying medicine. And then you said, "Oh, it was an accident. We put the wrong amount in him." You didn't care. You could have easily hung.
You know the right amount. You're not a.
Yeah. But they did it once the EMT people came. All you had to do was handcuff him and ask to talk to his parents. That's simple as that. Simple as that. He's not posing a threat. He's skinnier than all of you guys. He's shorter than all you guys. He has a medical condition. All you had to do was handcuff him and say, take him to the precinct after you read him his rights, allow him his one phone call, allow him to call his guardian, his mom, etc. Have his mom come up, state the case, release him. Done. That's it. It's that simple, but now again, we have another. You know what I'm saying?
This is the same people that always repeat the same thing. Oh, we just want to get home to our families. We just want to get home safe. We just want to make sure that we can live another day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what? I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it.
You see, because when you begin to do it, it brings another energy. It creates something else, and this episode is so heavy, like at the end of this podcast, we still want to enjoy the rest of our day. However, this is heavy. And because we're talking about giving flowers and we actually are giving out flowers to these people's families still can't enjoy their day.